Hello. Here we are. Me with my weird light tones. Sitting on the egg of the finale. Ready for it to hatch, making sure I don't have any noodles in my beard. Giving ourselves a 5-minute window for people to catch up and jump in. Them good pinks and greens. Well, good news for anyone who's on the Patreon. Before the stream started, I uploaded the Dungeon City music in a shared Google Drive for y'all to download and enjoy. Well, I'm certainly glad you've appreciated the things we've done thus far. We certainly try. Make this a little bigger. Yeah. Right on. I don't know how you could possibly watch TV and listen to a podcast at the same time. No judgment, all power to you, but for me, that would be a panic attack. But anyway, just to make sure I say hi to the people whose names I can see. Hello, Luck. Hello, Gary. Hello, Zombie. Hello, Jacob. Hello, Reshpin. Hello, Brandon. Hello, I think I already said Gary. Hello, Eben. Once again, I haven't listened to this episode yet, except for the little bit I did to finish editing it this morning, get it uploaded. But most of the main body, I haven't heard since we recorded it. So I'm sure I will experience just as many surprises and feels as y'all. Oh, thank you for saying hello, Melissa, and enjoying Dungeon City. That really does mean a lot to me. It sounds like just a streamer thing to say, oh, thank you for commenting and stuff. Like, really, people letting us know that they like it is awesome. Matters more than you could imagine. Well, I guess in just about a minute I will start the episode. And then there's no turning back. Shadowrun. All right, well, it's just about that time. I will see you all on the other side to answer any questions or just chat for a little bit before we go our separate ways. And I will be here along the way. See you there.
I've made and lost a lot of friends in my life. Nobody's a stranger to Bo, they used to say. But everyone's a stranger once they're in the ground. Do you know what it feels like to be responsible for the deaths of the people you love more than yourself? I used to. But that wound on my bleeding heart scabbed over a long time ago. And this story's all over the place. And it rarely paints me in a good light. And I didn't care. I never said I was a good guy. You think the folks I'm talking about now are the first group I used to adventure with? Far from it. They're just the only ones who survived. And let's just say I used to run away a lot. Most people think I still do. And there's a difference between hiding till the time is right and cowering in fear. I'm not afraid of anything anymore. And I'm past the point of apologizing for what I've done. All I can do now is lay the bricks for a better tomorrow. One lie at a time. The initiative continues with Vivian. The Dryborg towering over the group, glistening metallic legs shining with chemicals and blood, as Dr. Eisenroper laughs a hideous laugh.
I liked it better when you were screaming in pain.
Very matter of fact.
Vivian backs away from the clones that are still crawling across the floor. I believe they're out of reactions.
Correct. They done trashed him out.
As she backs away, she keeps shaking her head, going over all of the different choices she has, going over how few hit points Din has. But unfortunately, she's in the same boat. And placing a hand on her holy symbol, she casts invisibility.
Ooh.
I finish my movement, which you can't see, and end my turn.
Interesting. At the end of your turn, he's going to use one of his legendary actions, Mad Scientist abilities, to awaken clones. And since he is now reborn as the Dryborg, it once again starts with 3. And that brings it to Dr. Eisenrauper's turn, the Iron Crawler. He uses one of his attacks for the turn to slam a giant mechanical spider leg into Din.
Bring it off.
That is a 16.
My AC is 17! Woo!
Ah! He has 2 more.
Follow!
He could have had 8 more, so
he could. You're right.
silver lining.
The urge to give him 8 was strong.
Mhm. The Ocho.
He don't got it this time.
That is a 19.
Oh, no, he got it.
And I need you to make me a strength saving throw.
Oh, boy, it probably doesn't matter. It's a 9.
Okay. You take 12 points of slashing damage,
I'm unconscious.
and your body is flung 10 feet across the lab towards 2 hungry zombies waiting to eat.
Uh-oh.
And with his horrifying swift movement, he click-clacks 10 feet in the blink of an eye and closes the gap between him and Vernon. He only has 1 legendary action left because many of them were drained from the destruction of the dragon's tethers, but he will use it to charge this attack against you. That is a 21 to hit.
That'll do. Right where I want him.
You take 9 slashing and 3 electric damage. Bow before mine glorious science.
You're going to have to do a lot better than that for me to bow.
And that, in fact, makes it Vernon's turn.
I have crawled through trash and gutters, and I do not feel shame, but I will not bow to a pest like you. Le hua hua.
You made Max go full French.
The only appropriate counter to a German.
It's true.
Vernon is going to be using his Rust Monster Carapace shield to deflect some attacks while circling around Dr. Eisenrauper to get a little bit more into the middle of the room. And then Vernon is going to reach into his compartment pouch, pick out a marinated cranium rat skull, and break it. The stored psychic energy is going to give a jolt to all his friends. I'm going to cast Aid, giving 5 HP to, first of all, my Cop Dop.
Thank you.
Second of all, myself. Then Crud will receive the little jolt of energy.
All of which are quite low on health.
All single digis.
Mm.
Anything else on your turn?
Well, fuck me, I guess.
Now is not the time for that. That is it.
All right. Dr. Eisenrauper, at the beginning of the new turn, will use his first legendary mad scientist action of the turn to have all of the clones attack.
I hate it.
2 of them will slide forward and attempt to pummel the prone cop.
They have advantage.
1 hits. The other hits.
Oh, God.
I don't think that 4 HP is going to do you.
I got 5 now.
Hey!
You take 9.
I got none now.
Sorry.
Better than fucking 4 failed death saves.
One of them is going to beat its fist against Crud. A 17?
Does not hit.
Ah, so close.
18.
So close. And then 2 are going to attempt to hit Wiley as he's racing at incredible speed across the laboratory floor. That is a crit and a 20.
Of course it is.
Oh my God. What is happening with
Goopy
these dice?
gumdrops.
He's juicing his dice.
Shameful.
With them both being halved, that's a total of 7 points of bludgeoning damage.
Heh. Suck my ass.
They're trying.
And the last one's going to sneak around and try to bop Vernon from the other side of Dr. Eisenrauper. He is now tall enough that it can kind of slide between his legs and just try to bop at you.
Take this.
A critical!
What the
God
fuck?
damn.
This is
the fuck, bud?
insanity.
It's meant to be.
Thanks for all your healing, cleric.
You take 8 bludgeoning.
Perfect.
Our sponsor tonight is TPK.
Excellent, excellent. After Dr. Eisenrauper and the zombies for this one, it is now Wiley's turn.
Hey, I'm going to go ahead and use my bonus action to disengage, and then I'm going to charge this shithead with a good old-fashioned reckless attack right to the stupid noggin.
That's
You
what
got
we
it.
like to see.
Well, I probably can't reach his noggin. To some part of him. The juiciest part.
There's a lot of juicy parts. A lot of tubes happening.
Could I, please, sir, have some crit? 17 and 18. All right.
I mean, they're juicy rolls.
Yep, an 18 plus 7.
Yes.
I'm thinking
Oh,
that's
yes.
going to do you. Can't follow it up with a secondary dagger attack, but I certainly can hit him with my sneak attack damage.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking bupkis. 114
Oh,
on the dice.
no.
Uh-oh.
Plus 6 makes a total of 12.
The good news is he resists a lot of damage, but you have a magic blade.
I do.
One of the few remaining in the city. Once a legendary blade, now a shanking knife.
Exactly. I think that is the end of my turn.
You cut through some of the wires between his joints and one of his legs starts to thrash up and down uncontrolled. That brings us to the layer action.
Lair action.
He's going to use, he's getting a little low on spell slots as well.
Thank the fuck Christ.
He is going to attempt to attack Crud with a cantrip. As one of his 8 legs flicks the end of it and a little bolt of fire comes flying out of it.
Single digit.
Unfortunately, he has disadvantage because he is surrounded by y'all, and he misses with a 10. You realize as the flame hits one of the broken tanks that the fluid inside is somewhat flammable, and that tank begins to smolder and boil.
I am terrified at the thought of Crud taking fire damage for the smell that would come out afterward.
Oh, that would smell real bad. That is going to bring us to the dragon's turn.
Hey.
Don't worry, it's okay. Somebody threw out like a whole dozen scented candles.
Oh,
It's
sick.
gonna be
Okay.
fine.
Unfortunately, they're all garbage scented.
Mm.
So, he is going to continue to use his athletics check to try to break free from the restraints, but since he has already succeeded with several of them, the DC is lower than it was. Yeah, he's doing fine. So that was 5. He is now down to 3 points.
How many restraints did they put on this bad boy?
Enough.
Mechanically exactly enough to represent the 8 mad scientist points he uses to power his ship. Because that's his magic battery, baby.
Yeah.
The magic number. I mean, you need 8 restraints on a dragon.
It's
4
true.
legs, tail, head,
Mhm.
wings.
Yep.
But any more assistance or a turn of his own, and he will likely break free completely. That brings us to Din.
Dinner is served. I get to make a death save.
Please do.
13. I passed
Hey,
one.
That's
Woo.
one.
I'm slightly less dead than I was last turn, and that's all I got.
Slightly less dead.
Slightly less.
All right, that brings us to a new initiative entry. Wiley, there is a sharp pain in your chest as you feel claws pushing as hard as they can, and the bag rips open as the cat spills to the ground.
Kitty! It's too dangerous here.
As the cat's eyes flash for just a moment, all 4 of you, including Vivian, are affected with false life for 12 hit points.
Oh, shit.
DM interpretation here. Usually temporary hit points don't get you up from unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts.
I would say if you succeed on your death saves to the point where you don't die, you'll just come back at 1 hit point and then have the temp. So you're still unconscious until you come to. You're just delirious right now.
Okay, sick.
But should you hit 0, you will have those temporaries.
Thank you.
And that brings us to Vivian. He's saving his layer actions because they're getting far and few between.
Din, you feel hands on your chest as the life energy that Viv has been siphoning from your enemies begins to pour into you.
Get that day of sex.
You regain 14 hit points. And Viv is now visible next to you.
Hey.
I was almost vivisected.
I honestly kind of thought you might have just dipped the fight, and I would have been pretty cool with that.
Yeah. Not my fucking problem.
You know, if it wasn't for that cat healing, well, I cast Cure Wounds instead of Raise Dead.
Two very different things. Very good. Anything else on your turn besides becoming visible and healing Din?
I wish I could.
Thank you.
All right. At the end of your turn, he will use one of his last few mad scientist actions to make the zombies, the clones, if you will, attack. One of the 6 clones that's moving into the center of the lab to attack does pass through the threat range of Crud.
That garbage heap is trained and hungry. That's going to be a 23 to hit.
That hits. And just to be clear, the false life unfortunately did not affect Crud.
Oh, that's fine.
That heap don't sleep.
That is going to be 5 points of damage.
All right. That is not enough to have to trigger his bioengineered fortitude, but it does enough to hurt him real bad.
Man, Trash Baby's going to eat a delicious halfling dinner tonight.
A lot of teeth.
A lot of little rotten fingies. Toes. That's going to be 2 attacks on the prone Din.
Bring it on. I need to stop. No, don't bring it on. Bring it off.
Every time you said that, I've rolled quite well.
I know.
None of those hit your ABC. Oh, that's advantage. I'm sorry. The
Yeah.
first one misses, and the second one hits
That's okay.
for 6 points of bludgeoning.
Ow.
One of them is going to be on Vivian, who is now visible. That is a horrible miss, as that one just kind of slips and bumps into your ankles, belly up, looking up at you confused. Vault. And one of them is going to grab at the ankles of Wiley, trying to squeeze the blood out of you.
Drain that snake.
That is a 20 total, dirty 20.
I will take it.
You take a total of 2 points.
Hey.
And one is going to slide around and attempt to bonk Vernon. That is another dirty 20 to hit.
That's going to do it.
Actually, that's a 19. I apologize.
Bonky V.
3 points of bludgeoning damage to Vernon,
All right.
as the clones are now under every foot, surrounding you completely. The smell of them is overwhelming. The sight of them is disgusting. The fact that they're moving of their own volition is terrifying. And Eisenrauper laughs.
That false life saved me. You missed an attack on Crud.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Same team.
The clone that attempts to hit Crud misses horribly, unable to penetrate his garbage AC. And that brings it to Eisenroper's turn proper.
Oh, no.
He's going to make 3 attacks with his giant mechanical legs. Which 3 the dice will decide,
Uh-oh.
because you're all very good targets right now.
Zombie, zombie, and zombie. Oh, sorry.
Din,
Clone,
din,
clone, clone.
din.
Vernon, Wiley, and Din.
Oh, no.
I'll roll the first one with advantage because you're still prone.
Yep.
That is a 19 on the dice.
That's
so
gonna hit.
Definitely a hit. 9 points of piercing damage.
Ooh, good thing I had temporary hit point.
And another advantage on Wiley because you are stabbing as recklessly as one can.
Hi-ya.
A total of 22.
Hey, that'll do it. Shocker.
A total of 5 halved.
Hey.
And then 1 at Vernon. No advantage. But that is a 24 to hit. Whew. He's on fire. 7 points of piercing.
Woo.
As you are skewered. This will be a brighter tomorrow. I will usher in a new destiny for Dungeon City with my science. Top of the initiative, Vernon. You can smell the smoke lingering and burning from inside of one of the vaults as it spreads to the next. Smoke is beginning to fill the lab air.
Seems familiar.
Somebody get the big kitty free.
No.
That was a very effective meow.
Vernon is going to grab the attachment on the back of his shield. It's a little bit of a Grick tentacle with a suction cup.
Interesting.
You know, it's got all those little suctiony
Oh,
bits.
yeah.
I'm going to slap it on one of the legs of this Drider, this Biodrider, this Drydorg,
Dryborg.
and then start running around entangling this thing. I'm going for an entangling strike.
Okay.
So what is the save for this spell?
Well, I got to hit first.
Sure.
Gonna be a twin. It's going to be a 14.
That
That's
is a wild
vastly
swing.
different number.
I know.
Unfortunately, 14 does not connect with his armor.
Cool. And the next one is a natural one.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
You are slapping suction cups of these legs, but you're not finding any purchase. They are planted strong and true.
That's the end of my turn.
And you are now beneath the beast.
Yeah. He's just snapping through all the little twine and shit I have on there.
He's going to save his layer action, which will bring us to Wiley.
I don't think a grapple's going to do me a lot of good here, so I'm just going to go ahead and unleash an onslaught of slasheroos.
Okay.
Reckless. 18 on the die, plus 7.
That hits.
Excellent. And then I'm going to come at him with my little dagger, just in case. It's 14 plus 7 for 21.
That hits.
Hot juice. Feel it.
And the first one gets a sneak attack.
Oh, yeah. God, I could not roll these sneak attack dice for shit. So that is 8 plus 6. So that's something.
Mhm.
14 is the actual number. Let me try that again. And then I'm going to do an extra 1d4 for 2.
That's not nothing. Also, 2 from Raging.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I forgot my 2 from Raging. So add 4 on top of that.
So 16 and 4.
Hey.
You are cutting at every piston joint you can find, digging your knife into the most vulnerable spots of this delicate, terrifying mechanical body. And that brings us to the layer action. He will, in fact, use his automated arcana. You see him slam a button into his chest, and part of the skin of his upper body begins to plate over with small, almost nanotech pieces of metal, as if they're growing over him, as though they're protecting him magically.
Fuck.
And that brings us to the dragon.
He's roaring.
Like a jet. Another critical.
Hell
Jesus.
yeah. Can this thing come fucking eat the Drider?
This is a little fucked up, but it's definitely what's happening. I need Vernon and Wiley to roll me a dexterity saving.
Hey, I got advantage on that. Natural 20.
Woo!
23.
Woo!
Thank the maker for that. There is the sound of snapping chains and leather and the flushing of fluids as the last tubes attached to the dragon's torso tear free. Its eyes have been removed. Its jaw is near-wired shut, and its limbs have been cut at the joints. But its body, thrashing with the weight of its tail holding it upright, in a blind rage, faces towards the chaos and emits a huge cone of electricity, starting in the corner of the lab and working its way this direction, ending on the Dryborg and the 2 of you that roll.
And I should hope the clones as well.
Oh yeah, the 2 clones that are in the line they're just dead.
They're just dead.
Even if they
I
roll
accept.
really good, they are instantly vaporized.
I accept.
Also, every tank on this side of the board from there forward explodes in a huge gout of fire, fluid pouring everywhere.
You're telling me these little Bilbo Saggins can't like tough it out from a dragon
I
blast?
hate Bilbo Sagan a lot.
I don't. Keep saying it.
So I'm just going to do standard default breath weapon damage.
good.
So you both take 15 light,
Sweet fuck.
and the Dryborg takes 30.
Holy butts.
Oh, if I didn't have that false life, that would be my fucking game. I had 32 on me. How much false life did I add? 12? Excellent. Excellent. I will note that I have 3 left.
He's a very good cat.
Very good cat.
There are moves to make, but Vernon falls.
Oh,
Oh, no. The smoke becomes thick, almost to the point where you can't see through it anymore. All you can hear is the clicking of mechanical spider legs, the shrieking of pain from Dr. Eisenrauper, and the roars of agony from the blinded dragon.
same team, bud. Same team.
This is not my better tomorrow. Execute Operation D1S 1NT1GR8.
Uh-oh.
And a klaxon alarm begins to blare as the entire lab is filled with glowing lights, all of the wires and tubes running along the floor heating up before the lab goes up in smoke. Some folks you feel worse about killing than others. Is it because they're monsters? I fear the day that becomes a bad thing. You see, we're all monsters. And denying that, or giving that title to others, well, that just proves it.
You got X-Beaks in your attic, salamanders in your cellar, boule in your bathroom? When it comes to invasive pests of all shapes and sizes, there's only one exterminator who's got the tools for the job. Don't let hooked horrors hobble your happy birthday, Wendigo waste your wedding, or Mephits mess up your mitzvah. Avoid infestation with the best man in the business. He's helped me and he can help you too. Decimus Extermination Services. You can trust the professional.
Hey, all you cuties. Welcome to the finale of Dungeon City. The feedback I've been getting on this project is really positive, and I want to personally thank you for taking your time to listen and give my silly little story a chance. I hope you enjoy it as much as we enjoyed recording it. If you did and want to return the favor, you can always let us know by joining the Patreon. You'll get all the music I commissioned for Dungeon City as a reward starting today, but that's just a drop in the bucket compared to all the LUQ bonus content we have there. If you can't swing that, telling friends, leaving reviews, and tagging us on social media is the next best thing. Helping us grow just means more and more projects like this are coming down the road. You're the ones who make that possible. But that's enough out of me. Let's find out how the story ends.
And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Bo, are you in this story at all? How do you know all this stuff? Well, trust me. It's best not to ask questions. Just wait and see what happens next. We are now entering a one-turn skill challenge to escape from the lab before it explodes.
Fuck.
We'll go in the same initiative order I already have. Vernon, unfortunately, is unconscious.
Yes, but when I am unconscious, Crud gets to act.
Oh, Crud will be your
If you want to-
surrogate skill challenger.
If you want to allow.
I not just like it, I love it. Which will make us start with Vernon, a.k.a. Crud.
There's a protocol for this as well.
Take out the trash.
It's called Take Out the Trash. It involves Crud washing over me and Iron Man Weekend of Bernieing me
Yeah,
out of here.
I love that.
Weekend at Iron Man.
This can either be an athletics from Crud, or if you want, I guess, like a Tinkerer's Tools.
This is you counting on the protocol that you have put into Crud.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have you do your tinkering check.
Mm.
You're trusting your own handiwork.
Hangies. That is a 10.
A 10.
Uh-oh.
Important number to note. Next, we have Wiley.
So, I am still raging. Do I get advantage on my athletics?
Yes.
Beautiful. Using my incredible rage strength, I am going to pick Din up since he is in such bad shape, and just start running him towards the exit. Come on, you piece of shit. Roast pig's not on the menu tonight. It's a 1-5.
What is your total with the 5?
The 5, blessedly, is +9. So I actually hit 14 on that one.
Okay.
Does that pass?
Okay.
We'll find out.
Come on.
Next up is Din.
Din has been up and down closer to the threshold of death more often than he would like today. Din is going to trust his eyes and try to see through the smoke, the flame, and the chemical distortion, making the most important perception check of his entire life. 13.
Where are we going, nuts? I can't see a goddamn thing.
I think it's that way.
Vivian.
Viv has watched crowds flee from disaster more times than she would like to admit. And she knows how important it is not to jam up the exit points. She uses insight to make sure that her companions flow through these doorways as seamlessly as possible, knowing full well how each of them acts in crisis. 14.
All right. This was not a skill challenge versus successes and failures. Anyone who got a 10 or lower does not escape.
Jeez.
That's fine.
You find the rear entrance, a kind of loading bay leading to the filthy beaches of the wargs, flooded with dark green water from Dungeon Bay. You emerge the laboratory in a cloud of smoke, coughing and wheezing, eyes burning. There are more explosions behind you. The sun starts to creep over the horizon. Morning already. Raindrops hiss against the molten steel of the imploded factory, and the remaining chemical pockets burst into flame, shooting glass and debris outward. One of you didn't make it. You trudge on, as far as you can towards safety. One last eruption emits a thick black cloud upward from it. Firing like an arrow is a bronze shape, draped with wires and dripping blood. The dragon struggles to stay airborne. Body weak from constant drugging and relentless draining, limbs cut, eyes removed. It spirals and teeters in the air, experiencing one last moment of freedom. The sunlight on its scales, a taste of the clouds, before plummeting into the distant water, leaving nothing but a chemical cloud in its wake.
Somebody's got eyes? Where is he? Viv, did you get...
No, I thought I was the last one out.
If he was gonna go, that's the way he would have wanted it.
I thought Crud got him. Fuck! I dropped in.
You look back, realizing there's no chance of re-entry. There's nothing left to save.
What the fuck do we have to show for it? We don't even know if that was the guy who did this.
We got proof. We got evidence that can shake what this city takes for granted to its core. That'll shape the upcoming election. We can change things for good.
Dun 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 dun.
I fucking quit. With her hands, she breaks the Scryphone in two and hurls it into the ocean.
Battered and bruised, dark truths haunting your mind. There's nothing to do but head back towards town. You're not sure what comes next, but there's really only one direction to walk. The sun seems to be taking its time raising today, but this morning hangs in doubt. Some say it's the dungeon master himself who dictates the rise and fall, but nobody knows for sure. The rain stings your wounds, and the trickle turns into a steady downpour. You don't walk for too long before you leave the warehouse district of the Wargs and reach Staff Island. If anyone comes to this horrid beach, it's by the way of the long boardwalks, carnival booths, and food vendors. There, out on a single pier, watching the sun rise is a silhouette of a familiar figure. He's far away, but you'd know Bo anywhere.
Where the fuck have you been?
He takes off his hat and turns to face you all. Hey, gang. Rough night, huh? Look, we did what needed to be done. You did what needed to be done. Evidence means nothing when your opponent has no limited power. I had to show you the truth in person. Step by step. No loose ends. Because there's only one force of power strong enough to stop the sickness that's trying to take over. Stronger than the holy towers, stronger than the street gangs, stronger than the lumbering beasts on the borders. This one's master. He points to the white cat following you. Whatever he sees, his master sees. Before it was just a political struggle. But now Leish has all the fuel he needs to wage a personal war against Hearthwell before the election's done. And I don't like tropes, but the lesser of two evils kind of seems like that sort of situation. The Monster Designation Act would end everything. It would be the last straw, one step too far towards the inhuman evil that we all pretend we ain't walking on. That was the plan. One last gambit to set things right, at least for a while. Was it worth it? Hell if I know, but thank you. Thank all of you. You're the best friends I ever had, and I regret every moment we spent apart. I'm glad you all made lives of yourselves, but I miss us. Nothing feels the same. No thrill, no success or failure hits like it did when we worked together. And we've lost that forever now. I've lost a friend, and that's a bad trade to me. But this was never about me.
I punch him in the face.
As your fist impacts his cheek, you find not flesh and bone and skull, but a cold, wet impact, freezing cold. And something about the combination of the rain and the rising sun. He seems to be shrinking. Not shrinking. Bo is melting. I'm sorry I couldn't invite you to my funeral, Viv. Kind of snuck up on me. And unlike Hearthwell, not all of us can afford clones to carry out our work. Best I could scrounge up was this crummy simulacrum. Real short lifespan. Just long enough to see this whole mess to its end. So, tell me, gang. Would you stand here with me and watch the sun rise over what could be a new tomorrow? I won't say better. I won't say brighter. I can't even promise different. Hell, even if it just stays the same for a while, we've at least done something.
Without much strength left in his body, Din makes his way over toward the edge of the dock, sits, and dangles his feet off.
A lot of remembrances today. I couldn't ask to be in better company.
I should have saved him. I could have saved him. I don't know why I grabbed you. It's fucking stupid. He sits down next to Din.
Din will throw an arm over his shoulder and say,
Today we're both stupid.
I don't suppose anyone got away with any bottles from the bar.
I reach into my papoose and shake a last little vial of white Gorgon that had squirreled away for a rainy day.
Ah, there you go. Just like the old days. Viv takes a seat beside her companions.
The cat jumps up onto the handrail around the pier, paces back and forth, as though waiting for something.
Hey, Leish, I know you're watching. Think we could do something about this ankle bracelet?
Hey, Din. I think the precinct needs another medical examiner. Gods know this city has plenty of skeletons.
I think we always have openings. But after what comes to light, I doubt the Force will have much funding anymore. This had our name written all over it. I know I still need to do right, but I don't know what shape that takes anymore. But whatever I do it for all of you. I do it for Vernon. I do it for that son of a bitch back there. Whatever I do, I gotta set something right.
As the last of the once great band of heroes sits on the edge of the pier, watching the sun rise over the chartreuse waters of Dungeon Bay, The remaining echoes of bloodshed and violence dissipate from the city streets, silenced by the blaring alarms emitting from the finger of fate. People race for their homes, dive into dumpsters, shutter their windows and throw down their weapons. 3 long black airships drift out from the highest reaches of the finger, looming like storm clouds ridden by the very gods. The alarms ring out like a chorus in the cathedral of power. The ominous triad of humming iron and wood creep over the Halo district, past the slums, and out towards the bay, stopping in unison, blocking out the sun, and casting out beams of spotlights to illuminate the 3 figures on the boardwalk. And the last few drops of cold melted snow slide through the wooden cracks and into the imprisoned sea. And that, folks, was the test run for Dungeon City.
That's fucking test run.
Very cool.
Well, you know, we're
Hell
not ever
yeah.
going to do anything else with it. Everything's a test run.
I love it. Fucking Dungeon City, man.
That was so fucking good.
That was wild.
Yeah, I think you could package that up and run it as a one shot.
Right?
Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Like, I think people would pay for that.
Man, fuck Bo.
I really want to do more genre games with y'all. Like,
Hell yeah.
it's just so fucking fun. Like, you know, with the what is it called? The trip arc in Luck, the fucking Wuxia pirate bit. Like every
Yeah.
time we do genre shit, it's just the funnest stuff.
It's a good time. We get to cut loose and be a little fucking goofy, but like carry it well.
The stakes are low enough that you can just get wild.
Yeah.
But in this game, the stakes were high.
Yes.
Yeah, they fucking were.
Near the end, there was a strong chance that one or more of you would have died.
I am
Fuck,
so
it
sorry I
happened.
didn't grab you. I genuinely
That doesn't matter.
I wasn't paying attention to how much you rolled, and I thought that Crud had you. And I was like, oh, he's good. He's good. He's encased in garbage. It'll be fine.
One of us had to die.
Yeah.
No, that's like looking back and metagaming at the same time. It's like very irrelevant.
If the cat hadn't given us that healing, I would have dipped.
Oh yeah.
I think y'all would have dipped.
I would have been fucked. You would have dipped as in you would have just left.
Yeah. 'Cause,
Hell
okay,
yeah.
how many hit points were you
Oh, I
at?
see. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, when it gave me the HP?
Yeah, before that.
0.
Okay, because I was at 3,
Hey.
and we were staring down like 5 of these zombies.
Yeah, we fucking
And all I
were.
could think of is like, if I go in and heal you, I'm going to get dropped. If I heal myself, I'm probably also going to get dropped. If I deal damage, I'm going to get dropped. I thought, like, all I can do, and invisibility is a free spell for me because I have Shadow Touched.
Mm.
Cool.
Yeah,
Also,
so
it's kind of gnarly bittersweet that it was technically the dragon that killed Vernon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the one that dropped you to 0 so you couldn't roll your own skill to escape.
If anybody had to die, it was Vernon, right?
I mean, I would have never guessed any of them. Like, none of them had any more story leverage to die than any other one. They all made sense at some point.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That was lethal. That was good. That was
That was
fucking
good.
hard. Loved that.
God, if Viv had died, I think what would have happened is just like, you know, like a black van would have pulled up, some corporate necromancers would have come out, like raised her as like a fucking skeleton or a zombie and just been like, see you on Monday. Drive off.
God.
You've been demoted to intern.
Right.
Oh, that's bleak. I love it.
Yeah. Little simulacrum flavor thrown in
That
there.
was
That was
cool.
fucking excellent.
I had notes. I was like, if someone hugs him, describe this. If someone hits him, describe this. Very good. Any overall story for your momos, I guess? Or we just want to talk about
Well, I mean, I
ourselves?
really like the visual of the crippled dragon slugging about and then breath
Yeah, that was really
weaponing
cool.
like in a line going through tanks and tanks.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, it was good because that's like the mad scientist lab.
Yeah, it was well constructed. I kept thinking, like, you know, I was trying to think about, like, what's up with this cat? What role does this play in it?
Mhm.
And I didn't think about, like,
the
oh, the cat's bugged.
familiar.
Yep.
Yeah, my
That's
first
bugs.
instinct was like, oh, it's Bo in cat form or whatever, you know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I thought that too.
When I saw the picture of Laish with the cat, I was like, Oh, familiar.
Yeah.
Oh, camera. I knew I wasn't exactly sure where it was going, but like I put
Government
a
spy
couple
cat.
pieces together.
Yeah,
I love government spy cat.
And your police instinct was to make a body cam.
yeah.
Oh yeah, because you could like show him the physical evidence, and they'd be like, "This is nothing."
Yeah.
But Leish saw it with his own eyes.
Yeah.
So good.
I felt very good about my interactions with the cat in retrospect.
Yep.
I was very proud of the moment of just being like, hey, can we get something done about this, this ankle
He's gonna
bracelet?
call you in. He's just gonna be like, "You did good. I need a cat sitter."
You're all gonna join the police force and I'm gonna be his like personal aide or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter if you're the most powerful Arcanist familiar. You're still a kitty cat.
I'm gonna be out of town for a few weeks. Come feed the cat. I am not gonna forget the fucking visual of the half-formed smiling clones. That's very good, very strong. I like that a lot.
I just wish I had more bonus actions to step on them.
I think that you could do
Kinky.
that as a free action.
Hello.
You have 5 feet of movement to do that.
Some politicians pay for that.
That's true. That's true.
So just so I'm understanding this correctly, the real Hearthwell was being controlled by the doctor.
Oh, I mean,
Or we don't know.
No. Well, there's a bit to know. An alliance between some of the Holy Towers and the police force created Hearthwell to be the perfect candidate to beat Lich.
Gotcha.
And this was the lab they made him in.
Mm.
And one of the strong proprietors and believers in this was Dr.
Gotcha.
Eisenrauper.
Gotcha.
So good.
And he would have been fine because he's just an elf. Monster Act doesn't ruin his life.
He's just a guy.
Just your normal, perfectly average elf.
That's fucking awesome. That's cool as hell. I haven't been DM'd by you very often, Law, and I've been dommed by you even less. I appreciate every opportunity that comes up for one of those things.
Get on your knees and roll a d20. All right. Well, let's go around and say who we is real quick because this is our last episode.
I am Zachary Golden. Twing. Proprietor of Wiley Doorknocker, or Willoughby Doorknocker, as he is known to his mom. I fucking loved this character.
And his parole officer.
And his parole officer. I fucking love playing this character. I loved this thing, and I really enjoy being the technical director for Slapdash Studios.
Mhm.
I'm Angelo Kaluag. I played Vernon Decimus, the Trash Ranger,
And Crud.
with a cruddy buddy,
Mm-hmm.
Crud.
What a good friend.
Mm-hmm.
Stinky little best friend.
Stinky little guy. I am Max Hobbs. I played Detective Din Allman, the Koppelganger or Doppelgangster. I don't think he was sure the whole time.
The Dick Nut.
The Dick Nut. Fun fact, Din in Welsh means man, as in person.
Ah,
Yeah.
man, all man.
Man, all man.
Man, oh
That's very
man.
fun.
You can find me in Dungeon Master Max pretty much everywhere online or in person. If you scream it out to a tree, I'll show up eventually.
There you go.
I have been part of Slapdash playing Woo Shop for a little while now. I don't know what else to say, so hey, Dana.
I am Dana Ebert. I played Vivian Deathrow, the Death Cleric, who, sorry there wasn't more healing, not a Grave Cleric.
That's okay.
Slight difference between those two. And I don't have much of a social media presence anymore since the fall of Twitter and the rise of X. But I am around, and, we're open a brewery.
As of this episode, I believe you'll be open.
October 28th, official full open date to the public. Lots of stuff going on. If you're in the Portland area, swing by.
Yes, indeed.
And Dana, that's totally understandable. We all have a hard time talking to our ex.
I call it Twix.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
My name's Law Johnson. I was the city master.
Mm.
I don't know. There's got to be a fun term for the DMs for Dungeon City.
City planner.
I was
city
the
planner.
mayor.
I was the mayor.
And writer of this little Dungeon City story. Had a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to sharing some of the maps and assets and art, and especially the music. The commission tracks I love, so I listen to them all the time. I really do.
Hell yeah.
So those will be on the Patreon probably after this goes up to you, and for you to just enjoy and play it wherever you want. But thank you so much for Bree for making this map and the one before. They're both really top notch. The
So
color
good.
work is great. Can't wait to share them with the fans. And also thank you to Hediger the editor for editing these episodes.
Also, if this is the kind of content you really enjoy and if these little side notes really excite you, go ahead and let us know. Because, like, if something like this gets enough traction, we could easily create a new podcast entirely based on it. So
Just
just
throw LUQ in the trash.
exactly. No, I mean, Slapdash is always looking for a good reason to start more content. It's always good to hear from you, the fans. So if you enjoyed this, let us know as soon as you can in the Discord, or just send us an email or pigeon.
Seven's in chat for Goblin Hospital.
What? Can I get an invite to Pigeon?
But anyway, we hope you had a good time. We look forward to the feedback. And until next time, the city got real shitty.
Yeah, dude.
I'm back. That was it. It was kind of a shorter episode, which you never really know until it's done getting edited down, but duration does not affect how heavy it hits your heart hole. All right. Man, we talked about Goblin Hospital so much on that one cast camping trip. It was ridiculous. Funny memories. So, what'd y'all think? I mean, obviously you were saying some stuff during the show, but really, like, I hope you enjoyed. It was a fun story to tell. Everyone did a really good job. I knew I could count on my players. I've got, like, friends who've been listening to my work for a long time, and they're just like, this is so tight. Like, it's so obvious that all the people at the table have been playing together for literally hundreds of hours. Because we just know how to feed each other and give each other openings. I don't know. That definitely seems to be the size and shape of things, is no intentions of stopping the main series LUQ, but maybe taking more time to have short pauses with side stories and like Zach said, genre specific game stuff. Thank you. Thank you. It means a lot. It's funny, I never really considered myself much of a writer. Aw. There's a baby sleeping on my feet. Oh no. A little baby. A sweet little baby poos. He's been so snuggly. You can't see it on the camera, but there is so much hair kicking up with me brushing her back like this. Yeah. She always just puts her cheek right against mine and stays there. Yeah. Yeah. It's a baby. It's a good girl. Eat. She's such a good baby. Oh no. She's caught in my headphones. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll keep it in mind. The problem is sometimes they require a lot of foresight. Like, you got to plan ahead. So, like, I couldn't just knock out, like, Dungeon City spur of the moment. It took a few weeks to get it ready. So, I would say we should try to keep them in mind for when we're, like, feeling burned out on the main story of a season, but then that can happen out of nowhere. You need to have the next thing already ready to go. Well, it'll be important for everyone to listen to Season 3 and really see what we're doing before they can figure out what's best for us to do. Not that I don't appreciate the insight and feedback. I think these are all great ideas. But we're certainly locked into a certain thing for a certain amount of time, and I think it's going to be quite good. Yeah, this will be the last stream I host for Dungeon City. It feels weird. I haven't streamed any in months and months. And then suddenly I did 4 in a row. Certainly been working a lot. Well, that's great. I'm so excited. Well, if there are any other questions about the show itself, otherwise we can wrap it up and call it right around 7 our time. News about updates to the Patreon. It's gonna be less split between like mid-roll legends and Battle Axis legends. It's all gonna be kind of one category that we can mention in the mid-roll and also reference in the show if the time is right. Just a much larger pool. At least that's the format I have in mind. We just need to work out the details. Other than the promo that we shared, there's no spoilers for the Pirate Radio. Sorry, I don't have anything. The bow segments were recorded at the table with the players listening to me reading them before and after each scene. That was their introduction to each new scene. The things I added was just the mid-roll stuff, and I had to make up for kind of Dungeon City commercials. Very good questions. I don't remember. I won't beat around that bush. We did do the Season 3 one, or the Season 2 LU Q&A, but I don't remember how much we talked about Season 3. I think our directive was to mostly tie up loose ends and talk about Season 2. But I feel like we mentioned it a little bit. But it's just the week after that it starts, so you don't have long to wait. Oh, there's a lot of stuff. Like, it was... I have a very strange attachment to Dungeon City in that it's both very strong and also very weak. In that... no stat card for the Scryphone. I'll answer that one right out the gate. It's just narrative. Like, the less I have to explain about Dungeon City, the more I like it. The more cognitive the concept is, and the more questions unanswered, the more interest I have in continuing with it. The idea of really spelling it all out over and over again and having to kind of like fine-tune what everything means, and making it more and more realistic in how this weird concept actually makes sense. Like, it's important and I could do it, but it makes it less interesting to me, if that makes sense. That said, there's still like a lot of stuff. I wanted to do more with like the gangs and describing how they're all crazy and doing their wild shit. There was a couple gangs that didn't even really get mentioned enough. Let's see. Because like the Hex Angels were awesome. They're just like a group of witches that ride around on big metal thunder brooms. And again, like, you know, whatever, AI art. Never use it for money, but for fun, that was basically what the Hex Angels were mocked up to look like. We did see the Jackal Napes. They were mentioned, but didn't come up. There's a group of goblin gang, the Mudcocks, that are very much... I wasn't crazy about this art, but it was fine. They're kind of this world's filter to view white supremacy from, I suppose. They're just really goblin pride, goblin power. Making fun of right-wing shit, I don't know. There's like the super noir, like high-end, classy undead and vampire gangs called the Bloodless. Those are the ones that really tickle the pickle of the Vampire the Masquerade type folks. But they have a presence here. Fucking Peaky Blinders ass shit. And then there was a group of Warforged that were all kind of like liberated Warforged. There was reflections of it in the Unborn Forge from Season 1, just because it's a concept I like. But they were basically like a bunch of punk rock constructs that all form a band. And like they're literally just like always performing. They're called the Winders. And they're not really like violent. They don't really like go to the streets and cause war. But when the time is right, they show up. But yeah, they basically just all pick up an instrument and join the gang. And stay free, you know? It's very, very punk rock music mentality. Serve no one. Work together. And the concept kept coming up in discussion, especially with Max's character, but it didn't really get fleshed out enough, was this idea of the... You heard things like Dops and Cops a bunch. Essentially, the idea is that one of the early special forces for the police troop was doppelgangers that were literally used to infiltrate crime gangs by impersonating them. But the problem is they did it for so long and so accurately, and there were so many of them, that they kind of lost track of who they were. Like they didn't realize that they were still working for the Dungeon City Police Department. They just kind of became gangsters, but also then they would send more on the inside to go back and be like, yeah, we still work for you, but they're actually working for the gang. So there was like immediately this like over toxification of no one remembers who's on the inside and who's an agent anymore. They're just so oversaturated and mixed up that they have the doppelgangsters and the koppelgangers. A couple of the drugs had like some loose stat effects that I spelled out for the group. And that's why there's like certain like police units where the actual detectives and Dungeon City police are just like, these guys, stop pretending you're cops. You don't exist. You're not allowed to do this anymore. And the fun thing was that Dick Nut, he wasn't a doppelganger, but he was a changeling. So he kind of had to face the backlash from both of those things, being kind of one of them, you know? I guess this one last time I'll show that good artwork of Bo Gospel. I love this guy. My perfect little narrator boy. But yeah, those are a few of the things I didn't get to touch on much. There was also going to be like some like really powerful kind of golem-y enforcers that worked for the Dungeon Master that kind of patrol the streets. Like, so even if it's like the cops have so much power, but then the Dungeon Master has his own defenses if he wants to get shit done. The only mention of one that didn't even get fully mentioned was in episode 1 when they watched the scry crystal of Bo. That's what broke down the door. So if you re-listen to that, you'll know. His tusks never grew in like they should have. Yeah, he was never either a doppelganger or a doppelgangster, but it's definitely a good insult to throw at him. To be like, oh, are you one of those like cops that don't actually have any like honor or loyalty to anyone, and you can't even tell who you're serving anymore, even though he was just trying to be the best cop he could. But yeah, I definitely always put a lot of back art story stuff into things I'm trying to work on, like giving Bree the concept art for the maps and stuff. I would have put the maps up today on the Patreon, except she's still in Japan and I don't have access to the high-res files. So I'll wait till they get back. Ooh, a raid on the Finger of Fate would be pretty fun. That'd be a fun one-shot. Or even just infiltrating one of the God Towers in the Halo District. That might be kind of neat. That's kind of what Bo was implying when he was talking to Wily in the flashback. It was like, hey, do you want to help me infiltrate one of the Holy Towers? Like, sure. Alright, if there aren't any more cues, I might take off for a bit. Oh, that's a good question. No, as long as there's more good questions. There are 8. There's Architon, Kandos, Exos, Ladra, Malphar, Midnaus, Spargosh, and Volvier. Those are the 8 different major deities in Dungeon City that have all turned into businesses. And Ladra is the goddess of sunlight and vision. She got kind of turned into light and power. Exos is the god of justice and protection. He kind of represents the military and police force. Volvier is the god of wealth and prosperity. He runs the banks and insurance companies. Midnaus, who you heard a lot, is the god of death and history, and he runs the morgues and museums and like corporate health insurance stuff, like Vivian was working for. Arkaton is the god of building and progress. He does city work, repairs, city planning. Malfar is the goddess of healing and medicine and does hospitals and human resources. Spargosh is the god of poison and rot, does garbage and sanitation. And then Kandos is the goddess of truth and archiving, who does media, news, and social networking. And they're all corporate. Yeah, they're just headquarters that kind of controlled out all the aspects of those things in the city. And each one is run in a holy tower. So, like, while there's only one major network that controls all of the TV networks and all of the radio and news, there are lots of smaller towers. Like, that would be all the different channels. Very cool. I'm hoping I can convince myself to do some cleaning tonight, because I've been working so much for the past 2 weeks that my apartment is a fucking dump show. And I get home so late that I'm just like, I can't clean anything. I'm too tired. And I really need to. But I'm also leaving early in the morning to work on Thanksgiving stuff all day. Residence distribution is something I haven't written a ton of details about, but I know that there's like a lot of people in the slums in New Goblin Town. And there's definitely wealth districts. Like, living in the Halo district means you're probably a high-ranking corporate official for one of the God's towers. And otherwise you're, you know, there's a lot of like generic slums too. A lot of shared housing though, a lot of apartments. I like to think there's probably not that many people living on the street in Dungeon City. One, because there's so many empty houses, and two, or apartments, and two, because they would just die, because there's just monsters that just wander the street. So if they're out on the street, they're probably like a fire giant or something. Speaking of work, doing it right now, dealing with stuff. All right. Thank you for the really great questions. I forgot I even had some of these answers. You all are the very best. I think most of you have been here for pretty much all of the Dungeon City live streams, and that's meant a ton to me, and I've really enjoyed getting to chat with you about it and watch your reactions. It's been really good, so thank you. Like, genuinely from me, Law, thank you. I'm going to end the stream for the night, and I hope I can keep doing some more streaming for live episodes in the near future. I don't think I'm going to do one next week just because it's the LU Q&A, and it's like, there's no reason to answer questions. It's literally what the whole episode is about, and it's not themed enough to put on an overlay, you know? So I think I'll take next week off, but then starting with Season 3, we'll probably kick it back on. All right, well, I will catch you all soon, and in the Discord, feel free to follow up with any questions.